Hello and welcome to Bounding into Comics. My name is John Trent. I'm the founder and editor-in-chief at Bounding into Comics. Today I got a story about Gina Carano and her latest interview with the Daily Wire founder Ben Shapiro. And the big question I want to address in this video is, will Gina Carano's firing from Disney and Lucasfilm break cancel culture's grip on American society? It's the question Ben Shapiro asks at the beginning of his interview with Carano, where she discusses what led to her firing, how she was fired, and the Daily Wire's plan to expand into film, with Carano coming on board to produce and star in an upcoming project. Unfortunately, the answer is a simple no. Carano's firing will not break cancel culture's grip on American society. It's here to stay and will more than likely be staying for a lot longer than you might expect, and it's going to get a lot worse. It's not optimistic, but it's what the evidence shows. Just look at what happened since Carano was fired in the middle of February. The day Carano's interview with Shapiro aired, Disney slapped a content warning on The Muppet Show, labeling their own content as pretty much racist, despite using their biggest brands, such as The Mandalorian and Marvel Studios, to promote the episodes arriving on Disney+. The day before the interview, and 10 days after Carano was fired, the Twitter mob was going after Chris Pratt because they saw that Pratt was trending because an engine made by Pratt & Whitney failed on United Flight 328. The mob never lets a crisis go to waste and decided to see if they could get him canceled. And it wasn't just Pratt. One person tried to cancel Jeremy Renner as well. Twitter user Dean Sephoria wrote, "What is Joe Biden plan to fire Chris Pratt and Jeremy Renner from Marvel?" Another wrote, "Why hasn't Marvel fired Chris Pratt yet?" Another added, "I love that if Chris Pratt so much as breathes near an internet connection, the girls are ready to let him have it." In response to this tweet, Twitter user Sir Zoe Kravitz wrote, "What are we dragging him for today? I'd like to participate." You get the gist. There's a lot more. They wanted to cancel Chris Pratt. This is 10 days after they canceled Gina Carano. More recently, Gran Torino star B. Vang, who played Tao Vang Lore, has come out against the film, claiming it mainstreamed anti-Asian racism. Vang wrote an op-ed for NBC News where he says, "Back in 2008, I starred opposite Clint Eastwood in Gran Torino, playing the lead Hmong role in a tale of two people transcending their differences to form an unlikely human bond. It was a historic cinematic moment for Hmong people around the world, despite its copious anti-Asian slurs." Vang went on to state, "At the time, there was a lot of discussion about whether the movie's slurs were insensitive and gratuitous or simply harmless jokes. I found it unnerving, the laughter that the slurs elicited in theaters with predominantly white audiences. And it was always white people who would say, 'Can't you take a joke?' Today, I shudder at the thought of what that meant. More than a decade later, the anti-Asian racism that was once disguised as good-natured humor has been revealed for what it is, thanks to COVID-19. Later in the essay, he wrote, "To this day, I am still haunted by the mirth of white audiences, the uproarious laughter when Eastwood's curmudgeonly racist character, Walt Kowalski, growled a slur." He lists a number of slurs. "It's a harmless joke, right? Until it's not just a joke, but rather one more excuse for ignoring white supremacy and racism." It's not just in Hollywood that you're seeing this cancel culture. Left-wing activists have ramped up their attacks on Hogwarts Legacy due to lead designer Troy Levitt's YouTube channel that criticized The Last Jedi, Brianna Wu, identity politics, and more. Comicbook.com writer Liam Robertson took to Twitter where he wrote, "I know this is just shocking, but the lead designer of Hogwarts Legacy is Troy Levitt, a far-right YouTuber who used to make anti-fem and pro-GG vids." Robertson would try to claim he wasn't trying to cancel Levitt, but labeling him far-right makes it perfectly clear what he was trying to do. He wrote, "I want to make something clear here. I'm not trying to cancel anyone. I just wanted to let people know this because I feel it's something people might like to know before deciding whether to support this project. This is all public info and there for anyone to find." It's a reminder that social justice warriors like Robertson always lie. As Vox Day explains in his book SJWs Always Lie, Taking Down the Thought Police, SJWs always lie is a truism because you cannot make social arguments without purposefully omitting crucial facts. You cannot, in other words, be a social justice warrior in good faith. Soon after Levitt's tweet, Kotaku ran an article titled "Hogwarts Legacy Lead Designer Used to Run Anti-Social Justice YouTube Channel." In the article, they imply Levitt has infected the game with an anti-feminist agenda. Ian Walker at Kotaku writes, "It's very unlikely Levitt has single-handedly infected every aspect of Hogwarts Legacy with an anti-feminist agenda. That said, it's obvious why folks might be wary of interacting with a game developed by someone with his beliefs, adapted from works that have been sullied by their creator's own bigoted worldview." Another clear attempt at canceling Levitt, and Hogwarts Legacy for that matter, and Harry Potter as well, and J.K. Rowling, because calling her a bigot there. Feminist Frequency host Anita Sarkeesian would also jump on the bandwagon. She fake quoted Levitt on Twitter. She wrote, quote, "I'm happy to say that even though I disclosed my hateful ism and YouTube channel to WB Games, it didn't appear to be an issue for them, and I get to continue being a successful game designer on a major project with no consequences." Remember, SJWs always lie. She literally posted a fake quote from Levitt in order to try and get him canceled. It's clear cancel culture's grip on society is not going away anytime soon, and Carano's firing isn't going to change that. Christian Toto at Hollywood and Toto also pointed out at the time of Carano's firing that, quote, "Disney will feel zero pressure to correct its ghastly mistake." He's right. They're not going to feel any pressure. They don't feel any pressure. There was literally an article in the Hollywood Reporter bragging about how they are going to cancel people who have right-leaning or conservative views. Toto later writes, "Her co-stars will stay mum, too, likely scrubbing their previous online support for Carano. Don't bet against Twitter deplatforming her soon." Those are all huge likelihoods. Reporters will continue to distort and outright lie about her tweets to make sure the journalistic record remains squarely against her. Call it fake news the sequel, and then we'll move on to the next cancel culture atrocity. This prediction would be true. Deadline literally received an exclusive from Carano and Ben Shapiro and the Daily Wire, and then in that exclusive, they lied about what Carano did on social media. Deadline's Andreas Weissman wrote, "The actress raised hell by sharing a TikTok post comparing the current divided political climate in the US to Yahtzee Germany. In her post, she does not mention the United States whatsoever." Maybe more to the point, the website Discussing Film wrote, "Proud Republican conservative artists are found aplenty in the Disney family. The brand has kept conservative actors like Tim Allen, John Ratzenberger, and Chris Pratt employed with little to no problems. The difference, of course, is that none of these people have ever done anything as far as comparing their self-described oppression to the Holocaust." That is not what Gina Carano posted. It is a lie. So Toto's prediction came true very quickly. He then posits, "It's a sad, sorry cycle, and nothing will change unless different action is taken." What that different action is unclear. He points to the hashtag cancel Disney Plus hashtag, but notes hashtags aren't real life and that most people probably don't even know that Carano has even been fired or will feel too inconvenienced to cancel Disney Plus. While I don't have the answer to what that different action will be, I do believe cancel culture's grip on society will eventually lead to a fracture that cannot be mended if we haven't already arrived there. Jack Posobiec explained it on a recent live stream with Bounty and the Comics. He said, "It will mean eventually building a completely separate ecosystem. You're going to have bifurcated systems, parallel tracks, a digital balkanization of the internet. The internet is going to get a little smaller, folks, and we are just going to have to get used to that. We are no longer going to have the open sandbox to use gamer technology. It's not going to be an open sandbox anymore. It's going to be tighter, concentric circles. There's going to be smaller select groups. Perhaps it's behind paywalls, perhaps not. We are still in that sifting process, but you are going to have a balkanization. You are no longer going to have open internet anymore. In order to break cancel culture's grip on American society, you're going to have to create a separate society that excludes those who actively engage in cancel culture. That includes mega corporations like Disney, who actively enable cancel culture, as well as the smaller players like Sarkeesian and Robertson. It's a tough task to do, and there will be sacrifice. It's unclear if Americans, no matter how small an amount, are still up for that task, myself included. But again, to answer the question, will Gina Carano's firing break cancel culture's grip on American society? The answer is no. The evidence proves it. But I wanted to hear from you. Do you think Carano's firing will end cancel culture? What do you think the solution to end cancel culture is? My name is John Trent, and you've been watching Bounty and the Comics.